Welcome to the first mini episode of Philly Sports Talk and other stuff. My name's Alex Capiello, and we're going to talk about the Flyers today. Firing yet another coach, their sixth coach in the last 11 years. Two of them were career 700 win coaches and Stanley Cup champion coaches, and one who won a Stanley Cup within the last 3 years. And those were Peter Laviolette, Alain Vigneault, and Craig Berube. Berube and Laviolette won cups in the past. And Alain Vigneault's been to 2 Stanley Cup finals. Vigneault's won 714 career games, whereas Laviolette is about to hit 700 this season. So, you have 3 Stanley Cup caliber coaches, and you fire all 3. I mean, this is a disgrace. When do you start blaming the players? All 3 of those coaches who I just named had Claude Giroux, JVR, Sean Couturier as core players on that team. All 3. Yet, let's blame the coach because the players lose, tune them out. The coach loses the ear in the room. These guys are multi-million-dollar athletes, okay? And they don't want to listen to the coach, I mean, you got to listen to your boss. Or maybe they just aren't that good. Giroux, when they went to the finals with Peter Laviolette in 2009 and 10. Third line guy with Scott Hartnell and Ville Leino. Dominated the playoffs. Put up better numbers than Mike Richards and Jeff Carter. So they unload Jeff Carter and Mike Richards. Catapult Giroux to the first line. And yeah, sure, he put up some good numbers, but did they ever win or get past the first round again with Giroux as their first line center? No. Nope. He's been captain. Hasn't been a great captain. I mean, it's like these guys are skating in quicksand. They have no speed. There's some games you'll see them skate fast. They don't back check. They're just not as good. They're just not as good as advertised by upper management. They're third line guys. That's all they are. And, they overpay them, and they can't produce in the big time. This league is based on fast, big guys. Big, fast guys with the occasional sprinkle of small guys moved in. And it's just not happening. And you're firing great coaches, Hall of Fame coaches. Berube's still young. He's only been a coach now in the league for a few. But you're firing these coaches because you're trying to appease the players. Well, the players aren't good enough. And why aren't the players good enough? Let's look at the top. Let's look at upper management. First of all, you got too many former Flyers still hanging around. Bobby Clarke, special advisor. Okay, he don't need to be a special advisor. What's he going to advise? He's 70-something years old. The game's too fast for him. They took fighting out of it. There's no hitting. I mean, all these rule changes. Go home. Watch it on TV. Maybe we'll let you come into the building once or twice a year. Stay at home. Paul Holmgren never won nothing as a head coach with the Hartford Whalers. Was a goon. Never won nothing here as head coach. Somehow he became a GM. The best he did as a GM was hire Laviolette, then fire Laviolette. But that's he. What else has he done? Mr. Snyder died, and the new ownership, I believe, Xfinity, Comcast, Spectacor, is the owner, and a bunch of other people made him vice president of team operations. Well, you know what? That's not good. That's not good enough. He's another one needs to be home. He's almost 70. Shut it down, buddy. Your time has passed. They need to get rid of all the guys, even the alumni guys that come in and play. I don't want them near the fucking building. I don't want them in the goddamn city. I stay in Jersey, stay over there, watch the games, get together at the Senior Citizen Center, relax, watch it up on that. I don't want you near my team. We should start a petition. Go down there, say, look, sell the Flyers. Okay? Sell it to somebody like a real fan who knows what the hell they're looking at. Because the real fans on the outside know what the problems are. But because you got, the so-called experts on the inside, upper management, former players go, no, the Flyers are a great culture. Oh, my God, they've been a successful, proud organization for the last 50 years. Well, you haven't won a fucking cup in almost 50 years. So what have you won? You've done nothing. You've been to 8 finals. You've lost friggin' all of them. You've won 0. So I don't want to hear about this proud organization. Okay? The mucking and grinding, the fighting, the physical play, all that shit's gone. It's fast, skilled hockey. And you got to draft skilled players and you got to draft fast players in order to do well in this league. You look at some of the deals they made too with this management. They brought in another big bruising defenseman from Buffalo who can put up some points. 40, 50 points a season. That's pretty good for a defenseman. 6'4", he's like 214. Problem is, this guy is a career minus 163. Minus 41 in a season. That's just unacceptable. Okay, for what? What physical play is there? There is none. Maybe you're going to have a game or two where there's a little physicalness. Playoffs, a little bit more physical, sure. But you need skilled players. You don't need that right now in this league. You need skilled players. And I wasn't a fan of Gostisbehere, okay? But he was fast. Wasn't great defensively. Was hurt a lot, okay? You had to get rid of him. But for that, same thing with Robert Hagg. The actual move was Robert Hagg for this guy. Robert Hagg, physical player, couldn't put up the numbers that this guy could, was a minus player too. But for that, a guy who's a worse minus player, I mean, come on, you can't have that. That's just piss poor talent evaluation, piss poor management, and it's somebody whoever's making the moves. I know Chuck Fletcher's the GM, but who's ever making the moves, it's probably Paul Holmgren and Bobby Clarke. Advising this guy, like, look, we want this. This is the culture. We need a big defenseman. No, that's not happening. I'm telling you, if a real normal person was a GM and knew sports, but wasn't in the industry, but just knew sports from being involved and watching talent, the eye test, not just all these guys in management in all 4 of these major sports leagues, they're not the greatest, smartest guys in the world, even though they think they are. Us fans are just much more, if not much more intelligent. We watch it. The eye test. We're not stupid. They say Philadelphia has some of the smartest fans in the world, in the country. Well, there's a reason for that. We know the game. And right now, I mean, for the last 47 years, they have done nothing. They've gotten to 8 finals, but the goal is if you're this gold standard, proud organization who's been great, they haven't won a cup. They haven't even addressed the goalie situation. Like, if it were me, you draft a goalie and you stick with him. If you think he's your number 1 guy, you stick with him. You stick him in at 19, 20. You play him. I don't care if he loses 50 games. You play him again next year. If he leaves up 9 goals, you put him in the next night. You don't take him out. You keep playing him. That's how he learns. But today, these athletes are fragile, and their mental health and their sports psychiatrists, they need to see. Look, I don't want to hear about that shit. Back in the day, those old school guys, they played every game. They played with less padding. Okay, the nets were bigger. You know, there was fighting. They get sticked in the throat. Bernie Prant lost an eye. You know, basically, and it ended his career. So to tell me, you know, that we got to watch, we got to coddle these players now. You know, oh my God, their feelings are going to get hurt. I don't want to hear that shit. You know, you are getting paid millions and millions of dollars. Get the fuck out there and play. Okay? And you give 150%, okay, every single time you're out there. You know? And that's it. You know, if you don't like what the coach has to say, that's tough. You know, I don't like what my boss has to say. But guess what? I got to show up and I got to do my job. It's as simple as that. And that's all I have to say about the Flyers these days. It's not going to get any better. They brought in a guy now this is his third stop as a head coach. He's been given drips and drabs. I think he had 5 years with the Minnesota Wild. You know, a couple playoff appearances. Nothing special. So, I mean, you know. So this is just another guy they're bringing in. And he's going to finish out the year. And, you know, hopefully they'll lose so they don't bring him back. Because if they start to win, then they'll probably bring him back. And he's not the answer. You know, the real answer is to sell the team and to start over with some real, fresh perspectives. Unload all the old-time players. Get them out of the building. I don't want them in Philly at all. Just so beat it. Stay in Jersey. And, start over. Get some new blood in here. You know, and give them time. Give them time to draft properly and build. You know, don't fire them after 2 or 3 years. You know, you look at successful organizations. You look at Pittsburgh in football. Steelers in their whole history of 50, 60 years, they've had 3 head coaches. Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin. And you know what? They've won 6 Super Bowls. You know, some years they've had great defenses and no quarterback or average quarterbacks. They still get there. They still win. Other years they have, their quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger. All these years, and they stick with the same. They stick with the head coach. If the head coach has 2 bad years in a row, 8-8, 7-9, okay, maybe we had injuries this year. Not that it's an excuse. Well, yeah, it is an excuse. And I'm going to use that excuse. If I have injuries on my team and I lose 3 or 4 of my best players, especially my franchise quarterback, or in hockey, if Edmonton loses a Connor McDavid, well, I'm going to say, yeah, the reason we sucked is because we lost our best player. We can't replace him. Oh, isn't that an excuse? Oh, that's an excuse. Oh, you can't use excuses. Excuses is for losers. Well, that's why we lost. That's why we're losing. We lost our best players. I'm not going to fire the coach for that. Going back to the Flyers organization, they've had the best coaches. Ken Hitchcock, another one they fired. I mean, come on. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Start blaming the fucking players and these overpaid prima donnas, okay? And say, look, you need to produce and listen to your head coach or you're gone. Simple as that. You're gone. And you need to, draft better players. And sit them down and say, look, this is how it's going to be. And, we're not firing coaches around here right away. Simple as that. We're firing players. That's what we do. Maybe that needs to happen. Maybe it needs to happen to some other teams in this city as well. And we could talk about that, another day. Let's just hope that the Flyers continue to keep losing. And, they've got a great pick. And hopefully, upper management people can be fired. And hopefully they can get Giroux and some of these other guys to, give up some their no trade clauses so they can move these bums. Because these guys are stuck in the Sanders. You got what you got with them. You're going to get... Some of them are past their prime. JVR is completely washed up. So, Couturier is what he is. He's a third-line guy with Giroux. They'd be a great third-line guy. Third line. Giroux, Couturier and Lawton. You know, that'd be a great third line. You know, just got to find top line players. So we'll see what the Flyers do, but continue to root for them to lose. Take care, everyone. I'll see you soon.